When Nathan had entered the house, he was shocked to see his deceased wife, Blessing, and he looked at her carefully, trying to know if she was actually the person. To which Blessing greeted him, "Nathan, love, good day. I'm the one." Nathan was shocked, and tears immediately rolled down his cheeks. He couldn't believe that Blessing was still alive. If she was alive, how come she's just showing her face now, after they had properly buried the crumbs they had seen at the accident site? So what happened? What is Blessing not saying? What really happened that day? Blessing quickly told Nathan. After the accident had occurred, an old woman had carried her out of the accident site as she was feeling unconscious. And it was just few months back that she knew who she was, that all along she has lived as the old woman's daughter. Though the old woman tried to make her remember who she was, but she couldn't. And it was just back, a few months back, that something happened to her and she gradually started getting her memory back. At that point, Nathan started shedding tears, real tears, as he didn't know how to fix the situation. His supposed deceased wife was in his living room and the new love of his life is upstairs with the kids. How was he going to try to balance the whole equation? What was he supposed to say? And he quickly looked at Blessing and told Blessing, "After 5 years of you not showing up, after we've done the burial and everything, I moved on. And now I've married someone else. What do you want me to do?" Blessing looked at him and said, "You've moved on, but I've not. So what am I supposed to do? I'm so excited I have regained my memory. And now you're telling me you've moved on. So are you trying to tell me that you don't care about me? You don't care about the love we shared? Are you trying to tell me that you don't care about the kids?" Nathan quickly stopped her and said, "No, I care about the kids. I care about everything. But at this point, I don't know what to do." Nathan quickly asked Blessing, "So where do you stay? What have you been doing? Okay, after you regained your memory, where have you been?" To which Blessing said she still stays with the old woman. And Nathan asked himself, what was he supposed to do in such a situation? Was he supposed to believe everything coming out from Blessing's mouth? But they had searched everywhere for Blessing. They had even posted her poster everywhere. So how come this so-called old woman had not seen the poster for one day and reached out? How come all of a sudden she's being able to regain her memory? Nathan told himself that he was going to believe the words coming out of her mouth with a pinch of salt. But he was not going to cast her away immediately. He needed to know if what she was saying was true. But at the same time, he couldn't just go back into her arms. He had fallen for someone who genuinely loved him, someone who is totally different from who his ex-wife used to be. And he looked at Blessing and said, "Okay, no problem. You'll have to return back to where you're coming from. I have to talk to my wife and my kids about it because you know Kosi might not even recognize you. As Kosi was very little when you left or when the accident occurred." Blessing looked at him and said, "Okay, no problem, but I'll be giving you 3 days. Talk to your new wife, talk to the kids. Tell the kids that their mom is back." There's no explanation for that. I don't know what you're going to do about your wife. You know, I won't be able to stay together with her. So I don't know what you're going to do about it. Nathan told her, "No problem. We're just meeting for the first time after 5 years. I'll figure out a way around it." Blessing stood up and left. After Blessing had gone, Nathan went upstairs and met Susan and asked her, "Why were you crying? I noticed you were crying." And Susan looked at him and said, "What am I supposed to do? Your wife is back. I'm sorry that I eavesdropped, but I heard everything she said. So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to pack my things and leave?" Nathan looked at her and said, "I don't understand you. Who is talking about you leaving? Why are you even talking about you leaving? You're my wife." Susan looked at him and said, "Yes, I am, but we've not registered the marriage because we thought it was contract marriage. So what do you want me to do? Am I supposed to stand and watch her return back to the house and watch you people become one big happy family?" Nathan was really, really confused. He didn't even know why Susan was thinking about leaving. She wasn't even thinking about fighting back. And Nathan looked at her and said, "Why are you suddenly thinking about leaving? I was thinking you were going to ask, how are we going to manage the situation? How are we going to let her stay in the house just because of the kids? I thought you were going to talk about us first. Susan looked at him and said, my dear husband, I know as much as I really want this whole marriage, but you know the moment she comes here, I will have no say because the kids would virtually know that she is their real mom. And nobody is going to see me as anybody again. And Nathan said, I will. You're my wife. I don't mind registering the marriage tomorrow. I don't mind doing all necessary things, but you're my wife. And that's all that matters. All the stories she just said, she didn't bring up any proof to back it up. So why do you think I'm going to believe everything she said? It's because Amanda saw her, like she mentioned. If Amanda had not seen her, I won't allow her yet until I find out that what she was saying is true. It's because Amanda had seen her. So I just want to give it a very good consideration before taking any action. So Amanda doesn't feel like I don't want her mom anymore. And I lied that the mom was dead. So please, I'm trying to play smart here. And I want you to understand that. To which Susan said, no problem. I'm very sorry that I didn't think about us first. So what are we going to do? Do you think she can move in and stay probably in the boys' quarters? I won't want her in the main building. I just don't want to feel jealous. I know the type of person I am. I am free-spirited, but I know I'm going to feel jealous. So I don't want her in the main building. If she's here in the main building, I'll feel like we are fighting for your attention. I'm not trying to tell you to cast your wife away, but I'm speaking for myself. I just want to speak for myself now. If she's going to come in because of the kids, then she has to stay somewhere else. She has to stay in the boys' quarters. The boys' quarter is fully furnished and okay. Or I'll go stay there. I don't mind. But I don't want a situation whereby it feels like we are fighting for your love. Nathan looked at her and said, so why are you overthinking everything? We are not going to fight for anybody's love, please, Susan. When she comes in order not to make her feel like she's not accepted, she's going to stay in the main building. Both of us are going to stay in the boys' quarters. When we feel like what she said is true, then we'll know how to tell her that she has to fall in love with someone else and get married because I've remarried and I cannot marry two women at the same time. Susan looked at him and said, how do you want her to feel that the memory she always wanted to remember, being her husband, has married and forgotten about her? Even said, life goes on, my dear love. I know you might start thinking it in a different way, that if something of such happened to you, I'm going to move on. But that's not the case here. Before she left, we had this little quarrel. Out of that time, I've not even made this amount of wealth. I haven't acquired this amount of wealth. So that's why I'm finding it a bit difficult to believe what she's saying. I'm not trying to say she's lying either, but I can't switch myself into loving her immediately. Susan looked at him and said, no problem. At that point, she made up her mind not to tell Nathan about the pregnancy. She told herself that she had to figure everything out. She needed to know where she stood. She needed to know if the family was balanced before telling Nathan about the pregnancy. Yes, the pregnancy was still early, but she had made up her mind to tell Nathan before the pregnancy shows. So that evening, Nathan and Susan hugged themselves tightly, talking about how their day were and trying to forget everything about Blessing. They spoke in length before they went to bed. The next day, Nathan spoke to his daughter Amanda and Kosi about their mom, and he quickly asked Amanda, you saw your mom yesterday, right? To which Amanda said yes. And he asked, we all buried mom. But the thing there is that mom did not really die. She said someone came to save her from the car accident. Amanda looked at her dad and said, okay, so why didn't she come since? Why is she just showing up now? Nathan looked at her and said, she said she lost her memory. So she had just regained her memory and that's why she's coming now. Amanda said, okay, Dad, so what does she want us to do? Like, she just wants to fit into the family that way. Nathan was really shocked. He didn't expect that from his daughter. And he quickly asked Amanda, don't you want your mom to come back? Anna said, Dad, I didn't really get to play with mom that much growing up. If she wants to come back, it's okay, no problem. Probably she wants to build the daughter-mother love. But growing up, she always felt sad around us. I can still remember everything. So, I don't know. It's up to you and Kosi. Kosi might be happy to have seen mom. And I don't even know if Kosi remembers mom. But we should give her a try, so she doesn't feel left out. If truly she had an accident and struggled to regain back her memory, it's somehow when she returns and it's like everybody had moved on. So we should give her a try. So when is she coming around? Anita said she will be coming around this weekend. She will have to stay with us, gradually bond with us. Then we'll know what to do, how to help her out. Amanda said, okay, Dad, no problem. We'll see her then. And Amanda left. When she returned to her room, she immediately started crying. Growing up, Amanda didn't have much good memory about her mom, as her mom always felt down around her. After the birth of Amanda, it felt like Blessing had gone into depression as Amanda was still growing and she took in for Kosi. So during that period, although she tried to be a good wife, but her presence as a loving mom wasn't 100% there. Amanda did not really experience much love from her mom as Blessing was not always looking happy. So this made Amanda feel like her mom was not always a happy person. To her, Susan was much more a happy person, a caring person than her mom. But she was ready to give it a try with her mom, knowing fully well that she's grown, and now she will be able to relate well with her mom. With life going on as usual, Blessing had joined them the weekend Nathan had said she was going to join them. The moment Blessing came to the house with her luggages, Nathan showed her her room in the main building, whereas Susan moved all her belongings to the boys' quarters, knowing fully well that she wasn't ready to compete for Nathan's love with anyone. Nathan also moved his belongings to the boys' quarters where Susan was. He made Amanda and Kosi understand that this was a time to bond with their mom. Nathan also tried to make his presence known in the life of Blessing, but at the same time, he made sure to give Susan almost 100% of his attention, calling her on a regular basis to make her not feel bad about what was happening. Blessing was quite okay initially. She did not complain. She tried to buy the love of her children. At first, she didn't even know how to start with them. Talking to them was a bit difficult for her, as they barely said anything. They were waiting for her to tell them the reason of her disappearance and why she had returned, to which Blessing still said the same thing she had told Nathan. And they believed her. Obviously, she was their mom. She tried waking them up in the morning, sending them to school, trying to be the mother that they always wanted. But it wasn't easy for Blessing. She wasn't used to that kind of lifestyle. She was used to just being a very happy single person. Having to wake up early, smile a fake smile in the presence of her kids wasn't her initial plan. She thought that the moment she comes to the life of Nathan was going to fall in love with her again, and she was going to be able to achieve the main reason why she had returned back to Nathan. It was a bit difficult for her initially, having to deal with all those things, assisting the kids with assignments and all those things. It wasn't what she planned. She just wanted to come into Nathan's life, achieve her goal, and live as usual. This wasn't her plan in any way. She never knew that Nathan was going to outsmart her. But she still looked for ways of getting more money from Nathan, always claiming to go for shopping with the kids, and Nathan always gave her a huge sum of money. Being that she had not always been in the picture, he wanted to make her comfortable with the kids. Whenever she demanded for money, Nathan gives to her. But Susan noticed that to all the days Nathan has said he gave Blessing money to go shopping with the kids, Blessing did not go for any shopping. She did not even live with the kids. They only returned licking ice cream. So what is she using the money to do? But Susan kept quiet. It wasn't her business in any way. There was no way she was going to come in between Blessing and her kids, or Nathan and his ex-wife. She kept her peace, trying to nurture her unborn baby, and has her mental health, having to deal with the fact that she had a co-wife in the same building with her. Blessing thought of various ways to achieve her goal. Make Nathan give her 1% of his company shares. 1% was quite enough. She thought of various ways. Was she going to come up with a business plan? But she can't just come up with a business plan if she had claimed to just regain her memory. So how come? She started thinking of ways to make Nathan give her a huge sum of money so she could flee again. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for her to just come up with one plan, knowing fully well that Nathan was well learned, and whatsoever she had to say it the right way, unless Nathan was going to catch her. One fateful day, after the kids had returned from school and they were in their room, Blessing was making a phone call to her boyfriend and telling him how she was looking for the perfect plan to collect money from Nathan, with the boyfriend suggesting on how to go about it. She was also feeding him with the lies she had told Nathan. Unknown to her, while she was doing all this, Amanda was about entering into her room to ask her to assist her with the assignment. So Amanda overheard everything she said while standing in her room, whereas the Blessing did not even notice her presence because she was looking outside and making the phone call. Amanda was shocked. She was seriously shocked that the woman she had given a second chance of love, was only here to scam her dad and live as usual. That means there was never an accident. Amanda thought of how to make her father see the true side of her mom. How is this possible? We all cried and mourned her. And now she's only here to steal. How was she going to tell her dad? How was she going to make her dad believe all these things? Amanda started thinking of ways, but she made sure never to mention it to the hearing of anyone, as she only wanted to tell her dad. That same day, she left to Blessing's room quietly and went to meet Auntie Susan to assist her with the assignment. And gradually, Amanda withdrew from her mom. Unlike Kosi, who was still attached to the mom, Amanda, who already knew her true agenda, gradually withdrew. She told herself, this can't be my mom. How can she see us as a charity case? She doesn't even care about us. She's only here for the money. Amanda was really, really pained. As the days went by, with Blessing and her boyfriend looking for the perfect plan to steal from Nathan, Blessing had come up with a nasty business plan and presented it to Nathan, telling Nathan that she can't stay at home all day, that when the kids go to school, she had to get herself busy. To which Nathan told her, no problem, I'm going to look at the plan. I'm going to provide everything you need. After Nathan looked at the plan, it seemed genuine to him. The cost wasn't much. He felt that was something that was good. And he also asked Blessing, so what do you want me to do? Should I rent the shop for you and everything? To which Blessing said, no, you don't have to. I can go and rent the shop by myself. I can do everything by myself. They even asked her, how will you do that? You just regained your memory. Do you know your way around? And Blessing said, no, I don't really remember my ways around, but I can figure it out on my own. It's better I start now. If you do everything, when I need another help, I'll have to keep calling your attention. So I would like to do everything by myself. So Nathan said, okay, no problem. He didn't want to force himself into the whole business plan. He didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable in any way. So he let her have her way. He asked her to calculate the amounts needed for everything so as to send it to her account. To which Blessing did, and Nathan sent the money to her account. The moment Nathan sent the money to her account, she transferred the money to a particular account, as she wasn't even interested in the business plan she had given to Nathan. But because she knew she had given Nathan a business plan, whenever the kids goes to school every day, she used the opportunity to leave the house, claiming that she went to work. One fateful day, Amanda had told her dad, why don't we go pay Mom a surprise visit at her place of work? She has gotten a shop for her business. Why don't we go pay her a visit? The moment Nathan and Amanda got to the particular address Blessing had given them, they found out that it was a total different owner. The business she claimed to have developed there wasn't even there. And Amanda was asking her dad, Dad, are you sure you're not in the wrong address? To which Nathan said no. He brought out the card Blessing had given to him and said, Amanda, you can see it. This is the address your mom gave to me. It was there and then. Amanda decided to open up to her dad, and she told her dad everything she had heard. Everything. How there was never an accident. How the accident itself was staged. That the moment the car started burning, Blessing ran out of the car and went to meet her lover. In fact, how she had taken their money before leaving. Nathan was really shocked. Years before Blessing died, he had lost a huge sum of money that he kept in the house, but he couldn't even remember the money because he was mourning his wife. It was now everything was coming back into place. It was now that Nathan knew the true agenda of Blessing. So all along, she did not die. She staged her own death and left him to go be with another man. And now she had only returned so she could get money from him. She could get wealth from him. Wow. Who would have thought this? Blessing, his love from university days. Was it that she never really loved him all along? Or what? Was she looking for a freedom that's like, what's wrong? Nathan told his daughter not to bother about everything and told her, can you just keep calm about the whole situation? When we get home, we are going to talk to your mom about it. But for now, don't say anything to Susan. Don't say anything to her. To which Amanda said, no problem, Dad. Fingers crossed. My mouth is zip. I won't say anything till you handle it your way. When Nathan got back home, after dropping Amanda in the main building, he went straight to the boys' quarters where he shared with Susan and he hugged Susan tight. Susan knew something was bothering Nathan and he wasn't willing to share. And that was the main reason he was hugging her so tight. But she calmed him down. She gradually placed his head on her laps, massaging the head and told him, you know you can tell me anything. You can tell me anything. I already know you're feeling down. I actually had a good news for you, but you came back feeling down, so I can't share. I'm going to shift it for another day. And Nathan looked at her and said, what's that? Tell me. So I said, okay, I'm going to tell you on one condition. If I tell you my good news, you're going to tell me your bad news so we can both wallow in our pain and our misery. Nathan looked at her and said, how do you just have the perfect way of making me smile? Why do you want to share my pain with me? Don't worry, just tell me your good news. Susan said, no, if you're not telling me why you're looking this way, I'm not going to say anything. Nathan said, okay, it's no problem. I think it's better I share the bad news so that we will feel bad first, then we'll hear the good news. Susan said, okay, no problem. Tell me, what's that? And Nathan told Susan everything Amanda had told him and how they had gotten to where Blessing said she had rented a shop and there was no shop. Susan looked at him and said, don't feel bad about it. Why are you feeling bad about it? The money you give to her is something that I can give to herself from the monthly pay you give to me. Just confront the situation. Ask her about it. Nathan looked at her and said, it's so easy for you to say. I don't want her to feel judged. And Susan said, you're not going to judge her. All you have to do is to ask her, did you or did you not rent a shop? Simple. I hear the lie she wants to say. If she lies to you, then you know that whatsoever Amanda said was true. Nathan said, okay, no problem. Then tell me the good news. Susan looked at him and said, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but me, I'm excited about it. And she placed Nathan's hands on her stomach. I said, guess what? There's a little heart inside her. Nathan looked at her, so shocked. He held her so tight. And he asked her, when did you find out? Susan said, before Blessing came into our life. I didn't want to say it till when everything was okay, but I noticed that my stomach was increasing and I didn't want you to figure it out on your own without me saying it. Nathan was really excited and he told her, I can't wait for you to be a mom. You're going to be a great mom. Susan told him, thank you very much. I hope to be one. After Blessing had returned for the day, Nathan confronted her about the whole situation and asked her, why did you lie about getting a shop when you did not get one? And Blessing knew she had been caught off guard and she was thinking of another lie to cover up the first lie. But there was no way out. As whatsoever she said, Nathan had another question to ask. Whatsoever she said, Nathan kept on asking another question. And she knew she couldn't lie about the whole situation. Nathan told her, do you know I have camera around my house? Both physical camera and the ones you cannot see. And Blessing said, I don't understand. Were you monitoring me or what? And Nathan asked her, Blessing, who is Frank? Blessing looked at Nathan, shocked. I don't know who Frank is, she quickly said. Nathan laughed and said, oh, Frank, your boyfriend, the one you are about to steal my money to go and give. And that was when Blessing knew that she had been caught and there was no way out. And she quickly confessed everything to Nathan. How she had staged her own accident and ran out of the car before the car got burnt. In fact, she stole his money and left with Frank. And the main reason she had returned, in fact, there was never any old woman who rescued her. The main reason she returned was because they were almost becoming broke and they needed someone to fuel back their lifestyle. And Nathan asked her, is it that you weren't happy with me? Weren't you happy? Weren't you happy that you got married to me? Weren't you happy that you had kids? Weren't you happy that we had a dream? Nathan looked at him and said, no. I married you because you asked me to get married to you. And we were in a relationship from university. As of when I told you yes, I didn't even know what I wanted to use my life to do. And after that, I was depressed and lonely. You always left me with the kids and you go to work every day. You didn't even know how I felt. You don't know anything about me. Later they asked her, so who is Frank? And Blessing said, Frank was the young guy living close to us when we were still living in our 2-bedroom. And Nathan said, so now you're in love with Frank, but he cannot fuel your lifestyle. He can't fuel the lifestyle both of you created. Blessing said, he has been doing it. I just found out about you. I found out how rich you've become. And I said I deserved something. I was the one that gave birth to your kids. I don't understand. You didn't even pay me for that. And that was when Nathan saw the unrepentant soul of Blessing. She didn't even care that what she did was wrong. She wasn't even feeling remorseful in any way. And Nathan looked at her and said, how much do you want? Name your price. The reason you came to my house, just name it so that you can leave and never show your face. Blessing said, okay, no problem. My price is really, really high. And you have to pay me everything. Because when I was in this marriage, I was lonely. You think all those your words were making me happy? No. Nathan looked at her and said, thank God. Thank God Amanda figured everything out before you had rendered my family useless. Blessing did not even show any remorse about what Nathan was saying. She quickly mentioned the very huge amount of money to which Nathan wrote a check immediately for her and told her, you're going to pick up the check tomorrow morning because I want you to sign that you'll never show up in my life, my family, my gate again. Blessing wasn't bothered. She signed everything the next day, packed her belongings, told Amanda and Kosi bye-bye, and left with a very happy mind. She was happy to be living that environment. She was so tired about waking up by 4:30, pretending to be happy, asking the kids if the school was okay. That wasn't her lifestyle. Back where she was in Lagos, she was living the baby girl lifestyle, going to the best hair salon, living her life the way she wanted, clubbing whenever she wanted. And now they wanted to convert her to be mommy. No. She wasn't ready yet. So Blessing returned back to the arms of Frank and they continued living the way they chose. Amanda was happy the moment Susan had told her that she was expecting a baby. Amanda was really glad, as now she was going to be a big sister to Tsup. She wasn't just a big sister to Kosi and the unborn baby. The family grew happily, loving. Nathan blessed the day Susan had walked into his life. The day Susan had chosen not to be a nurse and become a maid was the day Susan opened doors for greater height for him. And he was not just always happy. He found peace. Knowing fully well that his kids were secured, everything was perfect in his house. Susan was the true definition of a wife. Susan brought him nothing but joy, peace of mind, relaxation. Whatsoever trouble he had from his business, he had someone to talk to. And that was Susan. Because Susan knew the perfect answer. She was going to try to analyze it in various ways before telling Nathan to go for it. He found love. And he was so proud of it. Susan gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Amanda had asked Susan if she could name the baby, as the baby was her sister. To which Susan gave a go-ahead. And she named her Tekla. Tekla got the attention of everyone. As Tekla brought them joy, Tekla was everybody's favorite. Kosi always wanted to see Tekla the moment he comes back from school. Amanda was always carrying Tekla around. The moment Nathan comes back from work, He's carrying everybody, both Tekla, Amanda, and Kosi. He loved his kids. He loved his wife. He loved his home. He couldn't ask for anything more. This was the life he wanted to live with Blessing. If only he knew that Blessing was lonely all along in this marriage. If only he knew that Blessing wasn't even in the marriage. She wasn't invested in the marriage the way he was. All she needed was freedom. Freedom to do the things she didn't do in university as they were dating and she couldn't do it. But he was really glad that he had found Susan. Someone who complimented him in all ways. Whereas Blessing and Frank kept on living their life. But you know, when you eat money without investing the money, someday it's going to finish. And when the money was exhausted, there was no way for Blessing to go get money again, as she had signed never to return back to the life of Nathan. So what was she going to do? She wasn't working. She had never invested the money. Rather, she was living her life, eating, buying latest cars and bag. Frank, who was working, never even told Blessing that he was working. He was enjoying the money she was bringing. And he was also faking his love for her, as Frank knew that Blessing was a close case. All he needed from her was to get enough money and get married to the love of his life. Whereas Blessing was thinking that Frank was solely invested in her, invested in their fake life. And when the money Nathan had given to her was finished, Blessing resorted to selling her designer's bags, her shoes, her car. At some point, she even put her building up for sale. And when she had lost everything, believing that when she sells her building, she was going to run back to the arms of Frank. When she had sold everything, Frank deleted her number and blocked her entirely from his life. Right in front of her eyes, she lost everything, started living under the bridge, whereas Frank established himself with her money and got married to the love of her life in Kem. Blessing then understood that Frank was never in love with her. Frank was only playing along because there was something he could gain out of the whole relationship. She was the fool. She threw the love Nathan gave to her and ran for vanity. She threw the love Nathan had showed her even when she returned for the second time. When she had the time to make amends, she felt that Frank was the main person, the person who understood the kind of lifestyle she wanted. At the end of the day, she lost everything within a twinkle of an eye. Whereas Susan rose to the top. Susan took care of her home perfectly, with Nathan rising on a daily basis. As Susan also went back to school and studied engineering. So she was always there to help her husband's fame. She even had a major share in Nathan's fame, as Nathan felt that gifting her that shares was a way of encouraging her to do more. She wasn't always coming to work, but the moment she comes to work, her presence was always felt. Nathan loved Susan and blessed God that he had met Susan. Thank you very much for listening to the story of the day. This story is just to encourage us in our own little way. Sometimes, a lot of things might come our way and we might feel let down. Just imagine if Susan had walked out of the marriage feeling that she didn't want to take the place of Blessing in the life of the kids. Even though Blessing might have come and tried to shame her in her own little way, maybe tell her that, you know, I'm the mother of the kids and all those things. But Nathan had his own little way of encouraging her to stick by him. And gradually, the true agenda of Blessing was recognized for the world to see. It was shown to the world. Not just that Blessing lost everything. She lost a good man. She lost her kids. Because she signed never to show up in front of Nathan, being that she had given ownership of her kids to Susan. That was the most stupid thing to ever do as a mother. Sometimes we might desire a lot of things, but one thing we should know is that communication is the only key. Probably if she had communicated with Nathan, things would have gone a different way. Rather than staging her own death, running away with his money, and even coming back to get more money because she saw Nathan as her money provider. We should always learn in life that vanity will always be vanity. Easy come, easy go. Thank you very much for sticking with us on the story. We really appreciate each and every one of you. We thank you very much for your support, for your love. It's not taken for granted. The time spent with us, we really appreciate you. We still remain your favorite storyteller, Zika. Please do not forget to support us by liking our stories, subscribing to them, and sharing our stories to your loved ones. Till we meet again in our next. Bye for now.